Hey, live universe, we are live with Gene Leggett. Give me just a moment. I gotta increase the coverage of the Zoom board here so that nothing else is shared on my desktop. All right, looks like we've done that. Gene, give everybody a shout out. How are you doing today?
I am doing awesome. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
You are welcome, and I'm really looking forward to doing this. This is great. If you can, well, actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll go with it. I am going to do something with the title that you can't see. I've got all kinds of things that I can do. I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to put it on. I'm going to put it over there, and then I'm going to pull myself up here, and you're going to figure out what the heck I was doing when you see the replay here. Gene, I've got all kinds of weird challenge. Well, I mean, you're a video game designer, so you get it. I've got all kinds of weird little interface and GUI things and visuals, and you know what? Since I'm realizing that, I'm gonna put it up here where it's very, very visible, so that you're not
Probably
displeased.
at least once or twice a day, I curse technology.
Yeah,
And the terrible irony, of course.
as you should. Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, for
mm-hmm.
sure. All right. Well, great. All right. So I'm going to stay away from the Excel spreadsheet. Excuse me. Live universe. All right. This is not the creepy kid from The Shining. This is what you want to do over the share button, because Gene has powerful talk on how video games have changed in terms of narratives and storytelling and everything else, and what she's learned from 10-year-olds. So if you want to help Jean share her talk, you want to hover over the share button and start doing this. You can comment, you can share. We do have some time at the end of this recording for some QA if there are some questions during or even after the broadcast goes live. So, Jean, I already practiced your bio, correct?
You have, and
Thank
you
you for
got my
helping me.
last name correctly too. So
Leggett,
yeah.
that's a fairly easy last name to
You know,
pronounce.
you would be surprised. I get Leger
Leger.
or like Legat.
Legat. Well, okay. Well, the bar is already pretty low for me, Talk Universe. I'm liking this guest already. We're going to have a real good interview. You know, I got on the talk once with somebody at the very end of the day. I'm digressing here because this is one of the benefits for the Facebook Live people to hear. And I got on. It was I think the 14th or the 15th interview of the day. My brain stops functioning, you know, for the most part. I mean, it starts dipping into reserves after about the 11th guest, maybe the 8th guest. And I'm you know, I get on, and first words out of her mouth, "You're late." and I was late. I was about 7 or 8 minutes late. And the amazing thing was that I was not more late. I try not to be late, but you know, the 14th or the 15th guest out of 15, I kind of loosened the necktie a little bit at that point. And that, you know, so that's what I'm used to here, Gene. So, I like you. This is, this is going to be a fun, this is going to be a fun. This is going to be a fun interview. All right. Well, great. All right. So I practiced the bio. We got the levels down. We don't have another 2 people on the broadcast right here because of a flight delay and a rescheduled funeral, apparently, from the originals. So thank you for being here and not leaving me lonely for the next hour. You know, Talk Universe, you wonder why is Nathan having like 18 people at once that he's in. It's because stuff happens, and, you know, like my guests, I value my guest time. I value my time as well. So sometimes you aim for 3 and you get 1 guest, and that makes for an even better interview for that guest. So
I have to say, I don't want to share the spotlight, so I'm
this is great.
And I always feel like, too, that the people who show up are the people that you're supposed to meet.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I say. I'm bringing my best for the people that are able to prioritize. And hey, I understand.
Things
Funerals
happen.
get
Things
funerals
happen.
get rescheduled and flights are delayed and all these things happen and yet the show goes on. So I am pretty much ready to rock this. Any final questions for me, Gene?
What's your favorite color?
Oh, it's pink because it looks. Or what are you wearing?
Okay.
You're wearing like white and orange, or the hair's pink. The hair's well, that's like more of a
It's
fuchsia.
pink. It
It's
is
like a
fuchsia
purple
today. Yeah.
fuchsia. Yeah,
Yeah.
today. Okay. Well, great.
Right.
So, and if I forgot to mention this, it's because I need a second screen because I didn't print out the notes, and Zoom and this software interface does not have a split screen. So whatever is on the screen is really what everybody sees on the screen, and so if it looks like I'm scrolling for a while, that's what I got to do.
You're just browsing the internet for
All
something
right,
better.
awesome. Oh no, I'm not doing that. All right, Gene, you ready to rock?
I'm ready.
We're ready in 3, 2. We are live with Gene Leggett. Gene, are you ready to talk?
I am so ready to talk.
Gene Leggett is a stand-up comedian with a penchant for Chaucer and haiku who fell into video game development with her husband of 22 years. Congratulations. Together, they have developed Story Stylus, a narrative game engine aimed at lowering barriers of entry for authors to create story-based video games. Gene Leggett, welcome to the talk.
Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it.
So your talk is called What 10-Year-Olds Taught Us About Our Tech Startup. And I love the talk because you really are a comedian here because this is funny. The opening line made me laugh. 3 things do not lie: drunks, kids, and yoga
Yoga
pants.
pants.
Please take us behind the talk.
Well, it's I've been talking and in speaking, public speaking for about 12 years now. I started off doing stand-up comedy, and we've been running our tech startup for the last 5 years. And locally, we're kind of known for the work that we've been doing because it is remarkable. There's not a lot of people in the video game space who are developing games who are also working with children. I had some interesting insights to share, and somebody tapped me to come and do a TEDx, and I was like, are you kidding me? That's on my bucket list. I would love to do like the main TED stage, and
Oh,
maybe I'll get there. But yeah, to sort of break down the experience of what it is. My husband and I don't have children. It's no pets, no plants, no children. If it
mm,
can't feed itself, it can't live in the house. So for us to take on working with kids over 2 summers was highly informative to us
mm.
because they were giving us a lot of feedback on our software. And also, I think it changed our long-term business vision as well. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and a lot of funny things happened while we were working with the kids.
Now, Talk Universe, you may not know this, and you don't know this because I've never told you this before. I am the veteran of, I think, if not 2, then maybe 3 business incubator weekends that are called Startup Weekend. And it's basically like an apprentice style group validation weekend for 72 hours where you test these business theories out. What's your point, Nathan? Are you taking time away from Gene? No, don't want to. I want to bring it right back in because the hardest thing is not forming a team, not testing out your ideas, coming up with theories. The hardest thing is going out on the street, talking to people, and then making sure that people are telling you the truth instead of
Yeah.
telling you something nice that they think you want to hear whenever you are validating an entrepreneurial idea. And if you don't understand the difference, you will go bankrupt. Gene, this is a
Yes.
huge
Yes.
advantage. These kids tell you the truth.
I'm nodding my head
Yeah.
because the kids were absolutely brutally honest. The very first week. So we started our company, and that's actually the 5-year anniversary of when my husband started working on the company. And about a year later, we were sitting there in our office space, and I thought, we're going to rent the space across the hall next summer, and kids' parents are going to pay us, and those kids are going to be our software testers. Now, I'm being cheeky about it, but I knew that there was going to be like adults would want to give their kids an opportunity to try and make games, right? So they did. They paid us, and the kids got to make games. The parents got to give them something worthwhile, and we got really incredible feedback. That first week was brutal though, because they found all the bugs and this sucks, or why doesn't it have this feature? Why doesn't it have this feature? And it was really great because we've worked with adult creators. They don't give you that kind of feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Adult creators will be overly polite, and I don't know, they're not going to give it to you like in 10-year-olds going to.
Oh, for sure.
And,
Now,
and it was really valuable.
here's my question, Gene, because I mean, I dabble in this stuff a little bit. So I know a little bit of game theory. I know a little bit of entrepreneurial validation, lean startup kind of stuff. And I know software validation, you want to keep the features pretty minimal and make sure that they work really well and that they're really impactful instead of just doing bells and whistles all the time. Are you able to kind of get into some of when a kid brings you some kind of, cherry on top idea, are you able to kind of onboard them into some of these concepts in terms of, lean and validation and some of that, or do you just
not so much
sidestep that? Yeah.
Like, for example, in the first year, we were focused on the basic premise so what we've done with Story Stylist, which is our game authoring software, is we've tried to break down the nouns of a story into Lego bricks,
Mm-hmm.
if you will. People, places, things, conversations in the game. And those are fairly basic concepts for a kid to understand. And where they wanted to come in with their pie in the sky and cherry on top was, by the time we got to the second year, they wanted things like, how do I do currencies? I want to have inventories in my game. I want to do voiceovers in my game. And that's when it's like, okay, you want those features? Fine. We made a list and our team just went at it. And so by the time the next camp would roll around, the feature was rolled out because it was already on our wish list. It made it really helpful for the kids to prioritize for us.
Okay, so this is kind of a sandbox where the kids can figure out what more they want, and then they get their hands dirty and they actually figure out how to build some of that into the game. And it's not so much about commercial viability in itself; it's more about getting them, kind of finger painting with fun features and learning how to manifest their ideas, and give them that sense of empowerment, right? That kind of piece.
I think one of the things that I've experienced, like when we've had, first of all, our camps run Monday through Friday. We didn't do one last year because we're working on a big project. We're still working on the same project. So in this fall, we'll go back to doing like after school programs, because for us, it's really important to be able to give back to the community and make sure that there are those resources where we are. And so these kids will come in on the Monday, they'd go home at the end of the day. Tuesday morning, their parents would come down. They'd hang out and they'd be like, okay, so what have you done to my child? Because the level of engagement is, we have just now told their child anything is possible. What do you want to do? And there's magic in that creativity. There's joy in that creativity. And so, yes, we make video games, but more importantly, we create joy with story.
Yeah, tell me, give me kind of a success story in terms of the kids. I mean, they come in there,
I have so many.
I'd love to hear the impact that it's making, and I'm not even going to put any more criteria on there. Just tell us a couple stories.
Sure. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we got an email from Abby. Abby was 13 when she took our class 2 summers ago, and she was in there as a sponsorship from PayPal and Shopify. They were kind enough to help me. I wanted to have more girls in the course, so we sponsored a lot of girls to come in. Abby worked on a game called The Lime Merchant, and she was the first kid out of the 2 years of program that had like a currency, an economy within her game. And that was really cool. She had so much fun that she started doing voiceovers, and she recorded all of the voices She gave everybody scripts and she had them record their lines. She integrated them into the software. And she wrote us an email a month ago saying, hey, is my game still online? I've forgotten my password. Could I have that? And by the way, thanks to you guys, my coding confidence shot through the roof.
Mm.
And now I'm coding GPS dog collars in
Oh
school.
my gosh.
Like, she was 13.
Oh my
She's
gosh.
15. A couple of years ago, March of last year, we worked with Microsoft to do a private camp at their office. And like, we're talking 8, 9, 10-year-old girls who their parents still write to us and say, because of you, they want to be a programmer. And it's taking away that scary thing of what programming is and just making kids realize that you're just telling it logical things. That's all it is. One of my favorite stories, well, there's two more. One is a game that we've purposely left on our website called Attack of the Killer Zombie Cats. And it was done by an 11-year-old girl over the course of a week and a half. And you play as Barack or Michelle Obama to defeat Trumpy Cat.
Well,
so she drew some of the art, she wrote the story, and she coded it and did all the, she found all the sound effects and stuff like that. It's a 10-minute game done by an 11-year-old girl in the span of about 18 hours.
18 hours?
Yes.
18 hours.
Yes. We didn't realize how remarkable that was because we've done it so many times with these kids. And educators will come in and say, you did what now? So it's really a remarkable little game. I've been told by adult game developers that teams can't even do this on a game jam over the weekend. Like you have your startup weekend, we have game jams.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really remarkable what we're able to help these kids accomplish in a short period of time because of the way that we teach and engage and because of the software itself.
Well, first of all, the title of that game, that sounds like something that would be very therapeutic for the country because, and just to put everybody in time, I know there's drama on a I like a 2 times a day basis, but we've just hit something I think a day or two ago where even the right of center people thought was horrible and are pretty much universally denouncing from all sides. So I think for everybody, I don't think there would be any in this current timestamp in our world. I don't think anybody would have a problem with me saying that could be therapeutic, first of all. So
it's you get to push Trumpy Cat into a dark cat void. You do meet Hitlery Cat.
Oh gosh!
I did not write
Kim Jong Cat, or are there? No, not yet.
Hey, listen, if we did an updated version, she wants Dorothy Cat in space. Dorothy Cat is and don't go with Hillary Cat. It's a trap. I know. Listen, I did not write.
Oh my word! This is
personally. I think that if you are a public figure and you've spent your life in public service and you are constantly beaten down and you still come up, Hillary's got my respect for that alone.
Well, hey, no one is safe from these coding preteens or tweens.
That's right.
For sure.
Any topic goes.
I just think this is a serious note. I mean, technology, for someone that really puts their mind to it, doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter your age. Technology just erases all of that, and it just empowers you. And you could have a 9 or a 10 or 11-year-old, some of these stories, and they're running circles around the rest of us. And it's not just playing like, growing up, when we were kids and our parents were like, that's never going to get you. Well, it is getting you somewhere. It's actually a place where you can earn an awful lot of, I know that from initiatives in my city where people are earning very, very good money. They're going from, we have prison to coding programs. They're making extremely good money, better money than a lot of other people. And they're not having to go to college. They can just do these coding programs. It's just amazing.
And, I think how many episodes have you done of this particular series?
Wait, BeTheTalk. We're somewhere at the recording time. This is around 215 episodes.
Right. So
yeah.
And the thing about that is consistency,
Yeah.
consistency, consistency. Now, if we were to have kids come either in a classroom or in a camp situation or an after-school program, and they decide that they are so passionate about making games, and they decide, okay, I'm going to make one game a month, so I'm going to spend 3 to 4 hours a week, and I'm going to make short 10-minute games, one game a month. So that's 12 games a year. Let's give them 5, so 5 years. So that's 60 games.
Mm.
In 5 years, they'll have made 60 short games, right? And that's a little bit of effort every week, and they'll get better at it and better at it and better at it, just as our own games have gotten better with each successive game that we've published. It's now that kid is a leg up, and that shows people what they're passionate about. And I think no matter what it is that you're creating, you have to be consistent in your creativity.
For
You
sure.
have to show up. You have to show up and you have to do the work. And that's, with tools like ours, it's how do we make it easier so that everybody has an opportunity to share their story? What gets people lit up about it?
Well, we've been enjoying this riveting conversation, taking all kinds of bunny trails here today. And we are talking with Jean Leggett. Her talk is called What 10-Year-Olds Taught Us About Our Tech Startup. And we're going to be right back in just a moment with the Blitz Round. And we're back with the Blitz Round. I am going to ask Jean a series of either or questions related to the preparation and performance of her recent talk, What 10-Year-Olds Taught Us About Our Tech Startup. Jean, are you ready?
Okay. I hope so.
Now, I think you answered the first one. Were you invited to apply, or did you just apply?
I was invited to apply.
That's pretty sweet when you get invited to apply. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, these are how the other folks live here, Talk Universe. Love it. And doing great work with them. Okay. Are you a memorizer, improviser, or a blender?
Oh, I am definitely a blender. I have my touchstone moments throughout the talk that I want to hit, but I will not memorize things.
All right. You walk out on stage. Did you have nerves, or were you in the zone, or neither, or both?
I think the moment I opened my mouth, the nerves went away.
I've heard that before. A lot of people say that, yeah. What's a tip, tool, or technique that helped you?
You know what I've really started doing lately is I stand with my feet firmly planted on the ground, and I just say I am grounded, like I mentally say that to myself, and I just let that energy just like drop me right into the energy.
Here's the cut for time question. What was the most painful part of your talk that you had to cut out?
You know what? I wish I had more than 13 minutes. That's all I could have. And so I didn't end up cutting anything, but I feel like I could have. What we're doing is so complex that I really would have liked to have explained it a little bit more. I felt like it was very surface.
We've been enjoying the Blitz Round with Jean Leggett. Her talk is called What 10-Year-Olds Taught Us About Our Tech Startup. And if you want to check out that talk, you want to go to BeTheTalk.com, because we will have a clickable link to that. And if you want to connect with Jean and her company, you can go to onemorestorygames.com, onemorestorygames.com, spell out one, the word one, onemorestorygames.com. And we will be right back with Jean Leggett in just a moment for the final word of advice. And we're back with Jean Leggett. It is time for the final word of advice for Talk Universe.
Deep thoughts. Word of advice. You know what? Tap into the thing that brings you joy. Speak from that place of authenticity, and people light up. People connect to authenticity. That's how I've been able to succeed at being a speaker for the last 12 years, is just be yourself and be in joy.
Jean Leggett, thanks so much for carving time out for Talk Universe today and sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. Cheers.
All right, that's a wrap. Awesome.
Why, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Hey, we are still live. So any final words for live universe out here? We got a little bit of love. I see a heart on there.
Yay, I like
Some
hearts.
blessed person gave us
That's
a
right.
heart, but you
Hearts.
want to share this.
That's right. I like hearts and unicorns.
Yeah.
It's I could add so much. Here's one thing that I wish more speakers would do.
Hmm.
I wish that more speakers would take improv comedy classes
Hmm.
because they really, I've gone to so many sort of like, there's so many people that are doing short micro talk events, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the newest
Yep.
thing, and I think that's really super because you're exposed to people with different ideas. But what I really wish is that people would learn not stand-up comedy, but improv so that they feel more comfortable on stage, because there's nothing worse than seeing somebody who's in discomfort. And I think the other piece is, really, really experiencing the grounding. I still get butterflies in my stomach. I've been doing this for 12 years. I still get butterflies in my stomach. But, doing that visualization of knowing that you've nailed it is also really helpful. And I always recommend that to people. Oh, one last thing. You do some mental laughter yoga.
Oh, yeah.
About 30 seconds right before you go. And it breaks all that tension.
Oh, great stuff. Hey, well, Live Universe, this isn't the creepy kid from The Shining. We want you to share this. If you have young daughters, if you have nieces, as I do, and you want to show them massive, massive empowerment, give them all kinds of creative freedom, and expose them to possibilities through coding and technology, you're going to want to share this with the parent or the kids themselves. So That's it for today. Yep.
Watch my TED Talk. Watch what those 8-year-old girls did. It's super creepy, super fun, and super awesome.
Yeah, and you can, what was that, the Trumpy Cat video game? You might want to play that while you're on Gene's website. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.